Hello everyone, this is Max. You are watching Equity Match online live pitch events. As you can see, today we celebrated 100 pitch events, bringing on stage more than 400 founders worldwide, from Asia to Africa to North America and South America. We have been covering absolutely the world for the last almost 24 months. Today we have another four great founders coming to pitch and one investor guest, of course, great. Before introducing each of them, sorry, let me remind you that we stream on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. This is where you're watching now. Everyone wants to come to pitch, even can send the pitch to pitch at equitymatch.co. Send your deck, and we'll be more than happy to welcome you. Also, if you want to raise any question to our founders, please do it, and they will follow up with answers. Now, before introducing our founders, let me introduce to you our investor guest, Philippe Noel, co-founder and CEO of Retake. Philippe, thank you so much for coming. How's it going?
Good. Yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Would you like to give a short intro to yourself, to the audience?
Yeah, happy to. I think the slide you had was a little bit outdated. That might be my bad. But my name is Philippe. I'm the founder of this company called PareDB. We're an alternative to Elasticsearch built on Postgres. So for anyone that needs to do like real-time analytics type as part of their products, typically they go and need to purchase a database to be able to create those experiences. And we're an option that's built on Postgres, which is this framework that's gaining in popularity. It's been quite popular for a long time, and it's even more so now. So I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much, Phil. Let's start. Let's go with our first founder, Matias Nso, director of Quorum.org. Madrid, Spain, B2B, pre-seed 200K in euros. How's it going, Matias?
Hello, how are you doing? Very well. Sunny in Madrid.
Thank you so much for coming from the beautiful Madrid. Please give an introduction to yourself, and after you can go straight to pitch. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Matias. I am CEO and co-founder of Quorum. I live in Madrid, but I studied mechanical engineering in Barcelona and Zurich. And today I'm going to present Quorum. Quorum is a software as a service to digitize assemblies and shareholder meetings. Why digitizing these events? Well, that's why. Sports clubs, professional associations, publicly traded corporations, these organizations spend around 320 hours a year organizing such events. The main tools they use, paper, Excel files, and emails. And the bad communication between departments is in the origin of moments of a lot of stress, even challenges and legal problems that can last for years. Quorum is a software as a service to digitize shareholder meetings and assemblies. Our customers save 60% of the time dedicated to organize these events. And they turn what used to be pain points or friction moments, like, for example, presenting the results of a poll, into delightful moments like the one that you can see in the picture. All of these maintaining the legal guarantees, thanks to our software being audited in ISO 27001 for security of information and ISO 9001 for quality management. The market. We are focusing at the moment in the Spanish market, and only in Spain there are 180,000 entities that organize such events, which means with only 1% of this market, we can reach 10 million euros in revenues. And we aim to overcome 100 million in revenues after international expansion. But the most interesting thing about this market is that it is an expanding market. After the pandemic, regulations changed to make it legal to use electronic voting in such events, AGMs and shareholder meetings. Our unit economics, our payback is below 2 months with a customer acquisition cost of around 500 euros. We have a net promoting score above 4.8 over 5. And last year we had over 300,000 euros in revenues, and we tripled recurrent revenue. Our customers, big corporations like Amazon, Oracle, Whirlpool, or Fujitsu, sports clubs like Football Club Barcelona or the National Feminine Football League, and organizations like the Red Cross. Our competitors, we classify our competition in 3 verticals. Big corporations like Cytil or Minsight, which belongs to Indra, but we don't consider them direct competitors. Rather, potential buyers because their products were designed for the public sector and they don't adapt well to the private sector. Then we have low-cost startups like Assemblea or Custom Vote or Simply Voting. They are not certified in cybersecurity. And then the vertical where we compete is the vertical of startups which are cybersecurity certified, like Councilbox and Lumi. And the main difference among us is that they built 360 products with their own video conference rooms, chat, document management. This ends up producing very complex products, and the time to value is a little bit worse. What we decided is we specialized in online voting. We only develop things that are related to the online voting fact in these events, and we integrate with third parties for the rest, like, for example, Teams or Zoom for the video conference. This specialization strategy is the one that other startups use successfully, like Typeform for surveys, DocuSign for document signature, or MailChimp for newsletters. The team, we are 3 entrepreneurs that have been working together for the last 10 years. We have a very senior development team with experience in the fintech sector, and then a junior sales and customer success team that we trained internally. We have advisors in the university professors specialized in cryptography, and entrepreneurs that have built corporations with thousands of employees around the world. We aim to be present in 4 European countries by 2027, which will mean 25 million in revenues. And in order to get there, we're raising 200,000 euros in convertible notes with a discount of 15%. If we sum up this to the already achieved 575,000 euros in public funding, we have runway for the next 18 months. And the goal is to reach market fit to raise a seed round by mid-2025. Our mission at Quorum is help organizations make collective decisions that matter. So far, we are achieving it. If you want to help us, here are my contact details. Please get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Matias. Philip, all to you.
This is cool. Congrats on the progress so far. This is really exciting. When you enter a new country, do you need to get approved regulation to do business in that country?
It's not necessary. So actually in Europe, there are several regulations that affect, but in Europe, we have the European regulation for electronic identification. That is the framework for the identity part of the process. And therefore, the voting part, you have regulations in each vertical, but they are very similar in every country. Like, for example, for shareholder meetings or union elections, they are very similar in European countries. So you don't need a specific certification. We certify in ISO 27001, in ISO 9001. We aim to be certified in eIDAS as well, but we do that to differentiate from the low-cost products. It's not compulsory by law to be certified.
How do you reach your customers? How do you approach them and get them to pay? Is it direct sales?
It's go-to-market, outbound, and inbound, SEM, Google Ads, and SEO.
So which fraction is direct sales with you approaching the company via outbound, and which fraction is inbound?
In our case, it's mainly inbound. We have a lot of inbound because we have a very good positioning, SEO positioning with our content, but normally it's 50-50, 50% outbound, 50% inbound.
Got it. Are you familiar with the stockholder management platforms like Carta or Pooley or platforms like that? I'm surprised you didn't mention them. I think some of them are also facilitating board meetings and things like that, right? I'm curious how you position yourself versus them.
This is the main difference. There's a lot. We have identified over 100 tools to organize online meetings, to organize assemblies, shareholder meetings. Some of them specialize in elections, for example. Some of them specialize in shareholder meetings of publicly traded corporations. Some of them have more, like, for example, Diligent or Dilitrust, have more tools for board meetings. So they specialize in different niches. We decided not to specialize in a specific customer, but to specialize in a specific feature, which is the feature of voting. And the strategy is to conquer that niche that is very horizontal, like Typeform, for example, for surveys. You can use a survey to acquire a new customer, or you can use a survey to get a pitch deck from an entrepreneur, but you will always use Typeform because it's or SurveyMonkey, because they are very good for this kind of feature. This is our strategy. We are very good at voting. We are a specialist in voting, and we can use in different verticals.
Yeah, makes sense. That makes sense. I guess the bigger question then remains whether there's like enough of a big market for this, but it seems like it might be. What specific profile of company are you focusing on? You mentioned multiple ones. What's the biggest?
Actually, this is sorry to interrupt. Actually, this is the strategy is if we can be useful in many niches, the market grows. We have a bigger market. Because if we specialize in publicly traded corporations, tickets are very high, but the market is small because there are not a lot of publicly traded corporations. So by being horizontal, the problem is not the size of the market. The market is huge. You can have a TV show using a voting app. I was talking to Massimiliano. He can have this voting app here to vote on the best startup. It's very horizontal. I'm selling at the moment. It's very horizontal.
I like it.
It's very horizontal. The problem is not that. The problem is that you have many different ideal customer profiles. So you need to train your sales team to sell to many different people with many different problems, which is the same problem that DocuSign has, Typeform has. So what we decided is let's go niche by niche. Right now, we're very good with sport clubs and with professional associations. And then let's see what's the next step.
That's awesome. Yeah, congrats. This is amazing. Really exciting.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Philip. Matias, thank you very much. Please stay, don't go, because we are bringing you back very soon. Meanwhile, I'm moving to our second founder, Alberto de IORIO, founder and CEO OLM, from Italy, defense and space manufacturing, seed of 5 million in euros. How's it going, Alberto?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me. And well, as an introduction, I am Alberto, founder and CEO at Orbital Launch Means, but not only. I consider myself a communicator, a commercial innovator stemming from the airport planning, aviation, and aerospace industries, attempting to, well, shape their commercial outlooks through vertical proximity, sustainability, technical emancipation. And as for OLM, we're a privately integrated provider of sustainable test and launch facilities that will facilitate operations for the aerospace industry, looking to provide the space, the means, and the trust to propel both into the next era. And I'm ready to introduce my slides. So as you can see, our mission is build the first commercial launch and test technical ecosystems in Central Europe and beyond with Orbital Launch Means. And for a bit of background, last year, Europe went to space 10 times on a dedicated orbital. We have SpaceX in the US combining 100 launch and more mutually. We have, China racing for it, India on the moon, and Europe in fifth place. Because, well, the average cost of the mission today is approximately 100 million. And the way we access space, now that we launched to space, hasn't changed in over 60 years due to a very disparate and undedicated new space launch infrastructures, or hubs, as we like to call them. EU's commercial spaceflight is closed for business. But at OLM, we believe that only two things are needed. The first one is provide launch availability, satisfy a very high cadence of launches and constellation launches, and we need to do so frequently enough to open the market up. I'm sorry about the sirens in the back. Cost effectiveness, we need to do that by providing local schedule control capabilities to our launch operators, tailored capacities that today cannot be matched by transporter missions or large segment ride shares. So what is the OLM vision? At our sites, we wish to support the full development cycle of a launch by offering hybrid for both aviation and space-based propulsion test and launch centers. We need to reliably regulate, that is a big conversation we'll bring to the OLM table, access to space and propose Eastern and Western trajectories with proximity, sustainability, and safety. The market, 400 billion total average market, forecast to grow to 1 trillion. We'd like to think 1.5 trillion would be the goal if we manage to streamline it well by 2030 through our infrastructures. And we see it in three segments. The first one, launch and testing through the sites, driven by the high demand of constellation launches. Italy, for example, has an ambition to launch 63% of all satellite launches in the next 3 to 4 years. The space systems, the operation around these sites. Of course, these sites will propose defense focus on resiliency, but also the ambitions to discover the stars and all the applications, all the untapped potential to add, well, value to the services around our site and the ecosystem through data management, analytics, and of course, launch standardization. We have a lot of customers that signed a lot of MOUs and LOIs with a lot of the launchers here in Europe, but also abroad, Telon, Pangea, Marpin, and of course Latitude, LeaseSpace, Alpha, and Propulsion are just a few of them. Will be hosting all of the fleets. The competitors, only a few are doing so in the northern spaceport, in the northern part of Europe. These spaceports are government-owned, slow. They took years to scale. Well, OLM will scale to a monthly launch service faster than any other commercial spaceport ever has. Mr. Musk privatized rockets. We believe that it's time to privatize their infrastructures. Today, we'll specialize in three commercial proposals: launch operations and on-site assembly, integration, and testing. Of course, the testing of these propulsions, and of course, STREM advocacy and outreach operations that will streamline the emerging air and space industry ahead of the curve. Two sites on the left, the southern tip of Portugal here, in Vila do Bispo. We have the approval of the Portuguese Space Agency to set up shop in continental Europe. And this is, of course, the first constellation-worthy location over the Atlantic side. On the right, you have the southern tip of Sardinia with the ministerial approval here. 15,000 hectares of unpopulated area to set up, the first constellation-worthy location in the Mediterranean with eastern trajectory. And we're looking to propose a technological environmental development plan around our sites. Today, we're powered by a series of partners that will be, providing engineering provisions, the design of these sites, but also lease space for ground telemetry. Apto Technologies will be providing the mechanical, electromechanical equipments for our sites, and Air Liquide, the safe supply of hydrogen for the fleets, and many more green propellants. Today, we'll be entering the market with static and dynamic testing capacities for both aviation and space applications. We'll be scaling the site in tandem with our launchers. Will we be ready by 2026, 2027 with full mission management capacities and a full cycle support. The team made out of a senior roster. We have technical senior members such as Pierre Darmon, doctors in economy that are studying our financial projections, institutional relations with Veronica Regina, and advisors from both the aviation and airspace industry at the bottom, and also the institutions, which is from the University of Toronto, the Technological University of Toronto. So today, what are we asking for? Clearly, we're asking for 5.5 million in order to start, kicking off the European and institutional support that we have through our sites, technical, operational support, and liaison, and of course, the first-party tenants to complete the technical ecosystems we're proposing. On the right-hand side is just a handful of the growing support and initiatives across Europe and the world we've been part of. And we hope we'll get in touch with the contact information you have there to make Europe and commercial spaceflight multi-planetary together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alberto.
Thank you.
Philip will follow.
This is cool. This is a nice mission. I would love for it to happen. This is a bold mission as well. You mentioned you have a lot of LOIs, right, from those partners?
We do. They're mostly launchers. Yeah, people that today build their own facilities, try and find the space to test. Well, there are none. Only a few facilities support these kind of operations, and these guys would love to cut costs on those infrastructures and focus on the hardware. And that's where we believe we naturally step into the launch food chain.
So you would provide the launch operations, and they would focus on building satellites or whatever they want to launch.
That's right, absolutely. I mean, airports found a valuable process to take off and land. We'd like to find a similar process for the airspace industry to launch and store, test, assemble these launchers on site for full tech responsiveness.
Right. Have there been any dollar figures or euro figures associated with the LOIs signed so far?
No, but we have contracts for suborbital tests and propulsion testing by the end of the year. And this is where Sardinia has been stepping in very avidly. They have their own mission to make Sardinia the epicenter of these launch operations towards space in Central Europe. And they see OLM as a clear table where everybody could sit down and start streamlining the regulations that today are being kind of, sought after in Europe, but also start, facilitating all the means for these launch operators to conduct their test operations and then launch in the very short term, 2 years from now. But we're an infrastructure. We'll take much less time to be ready than some fancy launcher that wants to go to Mars.
Right. And are you going to be, you guys are providing the rockets as well, or only the facilities to launch? Okay.
Only the facilities. Nothing's going to space from OLM. We'll just be propelling them to space, facilitating their way to space. We want them to focus on that, after all. So no rockets for us, just hosting them, hosting the technologies, and hosting them to orbit.
Right. Are there any concerns when it comes to making facilities that will be functional for all the various types of rockets that the companies might be looking to launch? I'm sure they're all not the same.
No, they're not all the same, and that's part of the IPs we're working on with the engineering teams to make modular, versatile test beds that everybody can come and test at. So we'll be providing software, of course, cyber-secure facilities, cyber-secure software, and user-friendly softwares as well for small academias, institutions to come and test and get the telemetry they need out of their propulsions. But then we'll also find a way, and we're working on it with the engineering team, which is small but bound to grow, on how we can make these launch pads, as we call them, as modular and versatile and reduce turnaround times as fast as we can. SpaceX is doing that in just below 48 hours, and we're going to try and at least host a launch or two per day, so that's below 24 hours. There are records to break, and that's what the engineers are working on today, and in tandem with all the launchers and their technical necessities. We're picking them all up and working our way through the sweet spot. But that's part of the project as well.
When do you expect to make your first sale, like your first contract value based like euro value contract?
Yeah, so the first site will be in Tortori in Sardinia, not far from Teulada, where I was pitching just before. And by the end of the year, we already have contracts for a suborbital test from Sidereal Space Dynamics and various propulsion tests, so static tests from 2 customers exactly, and these will bring in campaign revenue, the revenue based on the campaigns they want to lead, and we'll be proposing the first spaces for Leaf Space to set up their telemetry, their ground antennas, and that will start kicking off a cash flow by the end of the year, early 2025, and we'll scale from there gradually. There's a strong need for testing, and we're looking forward to host everybody's needs. The first commercial testing facility in the world in Central Europe, and hopefully we can bring the brand abroad as well. Just talking to the UAE, Singapore as well, that are interested in being a test and launch sovereign. So by the end of the year.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Well, one place at a time, right? One place at a time. Don't get too scattered. But yeah, this is exciting. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alberto. Thank you, Philip. I move to our third founder. Here we are. Markus Krampe, CEO of TalkJob, Edinburgh, Germany. Technology, information, and internet. That's the sector. It's a bridge of pre-Series A round between 1 and 3 million euros. How's it going, Markus?
Fine, thank you. It's going to be exciting.
Please give an introduction to yourself, and after you can go straight to pitch. Philip,
cool. Okay, me, Markus Krampe, one of the older founders, been 54 already, coming from retailing. And we started with 2 founders here, TalkJob, like this is now our 2nd year, and founded like 3 years ago. So, what is TalkJob about? Let's go into the presentation. Well, basically, it's pretty easy. We are a barrier-free application for exactly those people, high transition non-resume workers. And in fact, these are real photos from what we are doing. Because who's our target group? In fact, pretty easy. It's everybody not using traditional channels anymore. And as we all know, less people really want to do a CV, especially when they see there's a job opportunity. I mean, they don't have them with them, and mostly they don't want to do it. And form sheets, they don't like it all as well. And then on the global basis, there's all over the place labor shortage. And this is where we're dropping in. And again, to be clear, we are in the phases of attracting the people. Means that's a pretty cool tool. So people are coming in, want to try that one out, and then we are there for converting them. And this is due to the fact that we are highly convenient and efficient. So how does it work? People coming from all over the place. Usually we are using here our beer tap in order to show how easy it could be. I mean, applying while queuing up at a bakery. So they're dropping in, clicking on that one, and then they are right in our solution. That means there is no download, there's no registration, there's no nothing, whatever could hinder the people. Even more, the chat, if wanted by the customer, could start in the language preset in the phone. Important for the blue-collar sector, because there's a huge potential of people who wouldn't apply because they're not really that familiar with the local language, or take the US. In California, you need to have Spanish, Chinese, whatsoever. anyhow, people dropping in, then they're running through the chat, and here we are asking the pre-qualifying questions for the job profile. That means not the entire bunch of questions that would apply in a CV or in a resume. Really, what is important for this job? People listen to that one, and then they could apply verbally. They could even also type, and then there are all other gimmicks in there, like I don't know, videos, GIFs, whatever is necessary for the company to present themselves. So after that, and this is all about employer branding, getting the people in, we are then asking for the contact details. And from there on, it goes usually directly into the application tracking systems. Again, for the large companies, very important to include the data right into the processes. And within the last 2 years, we are now within 20 of them, which is also part of our sales strategy, because these are channels for us, as we are the first one worldwide doing that one. And there are companies like SAP that we're working together, because we, as I said, we're the only tool really valid for blue collar workers. But also for the smaller customers, we are valid also for implementing it pretty fast. Then they would get the application, the transcript via email. And the entire integration process is, again, efficient and scalable. Our record was now with Hugo Boss within 22 hours, which isn't too bad. So an example that it's really working, this is with the NHS, 5th largest employer worldwide, and this one is in the UK. I mean, from the scratch, they had almost 3/4 of total applications with us. And as I said, alongside the entire value chain, already in terms of awareness, people are really curious and they want to try it out. We had a conversion of 5%. Now we are up to 16 sometimes, and conversion on job platform 28. Not only that, we managed to get in more people, and they managed to process them in a shorter period of time. They were also able to lower their cost per hire by over 80% due to the fact that they didn't have to spend that much. So working quite well, and this is also go-to-market. We're starting with large companies in smaller branches, and then we are simply scaling up. And as you can see, this we did within 2 years, over 160 clients. And the first year we did most of them across all industries. As I have said, target group is really everybody, because the market is pretty local for these people, and we are really focusing on the decision drivers of the candidates. And already we are in these countries. We have been part of the German accelerator, so we also have an office in the US. Not the money to expand down there. And not only that, we have all the customers, but as you could see, across all the countries, now 4, we had in total, I think, 16 awards. And like this year's Champions League, the Unleashed World started, because there we had all the investors in there. So what do we need right now is some more money in order to scale, because in the first year we really scaled up to 1 million ARR almost. But then due to the market, I mean, we couldn't really ask for money. So we were now stabilizing the entire business. It is very, very stable, as I have shown, very scalable. Now all we need is money in order to develop even further on the market here in Germany, but then as well in the UK and the DACH market. We are there anyways. And there you could see, I mean, we should be profitable by mid-year. Could increase that if we could increase sales, and the rest is to stabilize sales, to increase, I mean, grow in the home market, and then just take also the opportunities we could have. That's us. Thank you.
Thank you, Markus. Philip.
Nice to meet you. This is great. Congrats.
Hi there.
Hey, why? So you said you're not profitable yet, right? What is your biggest expense?
Our biggest expense, in fact, is this is a third staff, a third IT, and a third is marketing sales. So this is basically it.
When you say a third staff, that's your employees, that's payroll.
These are our employees, yes, because what we needed to do, as I've said, in the first year we had 150 customers. We did completely sales and marketing, And as we couldn't get money, I mean, we couldn't grow and continue with the growth rate, but we had 150 customers to care about. So we needed to implement structures in there and hire some people. We are now a total of 15, and that would be the basis for, I mean, we could triple our revenue with the existing structure. So that is really the base, 130K per month.
You said a third is IT.
Almost a third, which we are now bringing down because we had the initial development we had not in-house in order to be fast. I mean, this is really all about go-to-market and this is also our landlord. But now we're taking in the crucial process because that will give us even more speed now and also lower the costs in the end.
Okay, makes sense.
See, this is what you see at the top of the iceberg, ice, however you call it, because behind we also have a self-service store for small companies, because this is when we will integrate or expand horizontally towards these people. And now we could also expand vertically towards AI-driven, I mean, intelligent chats, white collar, because we are already implementing the systems of the customer, and then could simply serve everybody. And this is already all established.
What is the average contract value with your customers?
The average contract value at the moment is 6,000, as I said, because this is
per year.
Kind of per year. The initial one we're going up to 200,000. So it means if we're having companies like a Deco and they're starting pretty small with 10,000 and they're growing up. We're now having Aldi in the pipeline. We started with the NHS, one of the trusts, with 10,000. Now we're ramping them all up.
How much support do you need to provide these companies?
Afterwards, not that much. We need to call them like 4 times a year. That's what I've discovered. Before we didn't need to do anything, we would have had a operational profit of 98%. We're now bringing it down to 89%, because we then have had hired people in order to do the follow-up to see if it's working, just to do something for the larger ones, the smaller ones.
Wait. So your total maintenance is 4 calls per year for each customer, right?
Yeah, that's all.
So why do you need 15 people for 150 companies? Then that feels high to me.
15 people, you need some people in sales still.
Sure.
You need to have them in marketing. You need to have some IT coordinators, and then you need to have them for the onboarding. See, the work has been done in the onboarding, and there we really focus on, because if they are once well onboarded and we have seen that they have done their work correctly and communicating correctly, and this is why we're also providing all these visuals, as you have seen.
Yeah. Then how much is your acquisition cost for sales?
The acquisition cost per sales is like 3.5.
£35?
No, 3,500.
3,500.
Yep.
And your average contract value is 6,000.
Yes. Coming up, as I said, because it's always started like Hugo Boss now started with 8,000, and then we're going on a global basis. This is the fact, as we are not that old yet, and people start with a region or with whatever, 1 or 2 job profiles, and then they're simply growing. So that's basically it. So, and the last couple of contracts we have done have been 20,000. So okay. The Austrian mail, also Österreichische Post, is now starting next month. Zalando is starting, as I said, all the NHS ones. And it's now also the fact because we're getting known here in the market.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is great. This is super exciting. I will say, unsolicited advice, take it or not, but your company makes a lot of money. You guys are very successful and you have a lot of big customers. It sounds to me like raising more money to achieve profitability is not necessary. Not saying you shouldn't raise money, but achieving profitability should be independent. I think you should be able to do that with your existing revenue, and whether that is like cutting contracts that cost too much to maintain and sell versus the amount they bring in or something like that. But that will give you more freedom to go, because otherwise, if you scale things up, you'll have more of those contracts which have a high cost, right, to sell, but perhaps like not as much, a too long of a payback period or something like that.
No, but as I said, even the larger ones are taking 3,500, and there's a larger profit in there. And otherwise, we're now going on profit because the market is like it is for the last couple of months. So the only thing we could do is really, and this is why we have broken down. That's why we are highly efficient, and that's how we could be able to onboard a company like Hugo Boss within 22 hours, because the processes behind are working. They're kind of seamless, and ever since, so this is the only thing you could do at the moment as a startup, basically go towards profitability, and then trying, because the money you need is simply for expansion. This is only for growth.
Yeah. All right. Well, congrats. This is exciting.
I mean, we're the only one worldwide, so you should take the opportunity.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of recruiting companies, but the only one doing it the way you are. Sure. Yeah. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you, Markus. Thank you, Philip. I'll move to our last, but absolutely, of course, not the least, founders. David Obukome Oteri, Vienna, Austria, founder and CEO of Umoja. It's a SaaS marketplace fintech, pre-seed, 250K in euros. How's it going, David?
Hello, thank you very much for this opportunity. Everything is going well. So I'm David Obukome Oteri. I'm 27 years old, and I'm the founder and CEO of Umoja GmbH. A bit to my background, I'm originally from Nigeria. I also studied business administration and general management at the University of Economics in Vienna, Austria. I also gained over 5 years of experience in the global supply chain from working with multi-billion-dollar firms also in Vienna. And yeah, I'm very excited to be here and get you guys on board on Umoja. So yeah, let's start. So discover a unique Africa. Can I move the screen? All right, got it. Discover a unique Africa. Africa has the largest numbers of entrepreneurs globally. But despite these developments, entrepreneurship in Africa remains very challenging and very complex. For example, if we look into the B2B and the B2C sector, entrepreneurs must overcome challenges such as lack of global awareness and exposure of the African market. As we all know, the industry is mostly dominated by the Asian or the American market, and here little or no exposure is paid to the African market and its global opportunities and potential. Secondly, there's also the lack of resources and market knowledge. African micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises struggle to understand, scale, and manage their business globally due to the lack of tools and technological infrastructure accessible to them. And thirdly is the lack of empowerment and trust and partnership. Here, a high percentage of vendors are left demotivated, which eventually leads to them giving up on their dreams. So why now? Over 90% of current vendors are facing these problems, and 95% of vendors are actively looking for a solution, and 100% of vendors feel like existing solution doesn't meet their needs and understand their challenges. And this is where Umoja comes in. What is Umoja? Umoja is a SaaS solution that provides and empowers the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises with connections to Africa from all over the world with the opportunity to showcase their culture, potential, creativity, manage, and also scale their business globally. How do we do that? First, we have the Umoja Marketplace. This marketplace is where you can experience a unique African culture. Our marketplace is dedicated to empower African vendors from each parts of the world. It's a marketplace where the vendors' creativity, culture, potentials are being highlighted and celebrated. So that means in Umoja, you wouldn't find a Nike, Adidas, a Gucci, or Apple. Secondly, we have the Umoja Business Solution. Here we aim to provide the businesses with a supportive business infrastructure that allows them to manage their solution, to manage their business and be able to scale their business. And thirdly, we have the Umoja Business Partnership. Here we aim to support the vendors, and so they are able to focus on their creativity and also realize their potential. What is the market opportunity? The total addressable market is at a staggering 400 billion, and this is also meant to increase by 11.7% in the year 2027. For Umoja, the service obtainable market is at a 12 billion, and here we aim, Umoja aims to obtain 10% of the market shares. Who are our customers, right? At the moment, we're starting with the B2C sector, focusing in businesses in the fashion, arts, cosmetic, and home decoration industry. And we've also classified this businesses in 3 categories. We have the micro businesses, the entrepreneurs, the ones that have the creativity and trying to start up and create something unique. And also we have the local and small businesses, already existing businesses that lack that exposure and lack also support, as well as the medium-sized businesses, already existing enterprises that also lack the support, the partnership, and also that global exposure. How do we make money? Umoja aims through the commission, through our commission-based module, through monthly subscriptions, through Umoja partnership. We also support our vendors in the logistics and also offer them ads and marketing campaigns. And from here, we're able to create sustainable revenue streams for Umoja. Right now, from our competitors, we know that we can become market leaders through, one, our global approach, our Afrocentric culture, our marketplace innovation, and the empowerment that we have with vendors. What have we done till now? Right now, we've also created the MVP prototype of Umoja, and by the end of the second quarter this year, we would be launching the official platform of Umoja. So with this, I thank you guys, and I look forward to you discovering a new Africa with Umoja. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Please, Philip.
Thank you. This is great. Sorry, maybe I did not understand properly, but which of the 3 phases you described are you planning to roll out first? And who is the exact ICP for those people?
Yeah, so we're starting with the marketplace, of course. We already building then the marketplace solution, and we're targeting the B2C vendors at the moment and offering them then the solution where they're able to I guess, sell to the global audience. Since I'm based in Europe, in Austria, I've been studied here, knowing the people, we're going to launch the platform first in Europe and then gradually take that in on a global scale.
I see. And how do you see that rolling into the other 2 pieces of the product that you mentioned, the ERP?
Yes. I think that is simultaneous, right? Because at first we're starting then with the entrepreneurs, right? So the phase that we're going into is testing the platform, getting feedback from users, from vendors. And from that sense, we noticed that, for us, our aim is not come in, put your product and sell. We've also identified that there is no good infrastructure for vendors to actually succeed. If we as Umoja are providing a platform where vendors can go global, we also noticed there that they need also more support in understanding their customers and also growing that business and basically reaching their potential. And in that sense, we know the next phase would be how do we work on our ERP system and how do we incorporate that into the marketplace and offer different services to vendors that grow from that micro business into a small business and into then a mid-size B2C company.
Right. And have you had anyone use the marketplace so far?
We've had some interviews from our prototype. So we already have the MVP built prototype. And we had some interviews already with some existing vendors from the African region. And it has been very, very good results so far. And that's why now we are working on launching the platform at the end of this quarter. We also have a pool of where we outsourced over 260 vendors, and they are also based globally. Just for clarity, the African vendors are not only based in Africa. So for example, me being in Austria, being also an African, that means I would be eligible to also sell through this marketplace. So for us, what we've noticed is, and with the world being global, is that African businesses are not only based in Africa, but they are based in Europe, in America, and all around the world. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's exciting. Congrats on the progress. How do you plan? You said this marketplace will enable African-based businesses from all over the world to sell to consumers, right? How do you plan to get those customers to become aware of the existence of Umoja?
Yeah, I think the most important factor for us is all about also building a trust base, right? So we feel like we understand these vendors. And one thing that we understand is, the lack of that global exposure. And what we aim here with Umoja is really providing them with a solution that gives them that opportunity to be known, opportunity to be global, creating a community where
so
they have a voice.
How will you create that community? How will you bring people to those entrepreneurs via your marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about then just going into like the marketing strategy. So we do have then marketing strategies and acquiring these vendors, right? It's all about then using then the different.
What is the marketing strategy?
Well, we have 3 marketing strategies, right? The first one is what we call the pre-launch stage, right? So this is where we are at also at the moment, and when we try to target over 20 to 50 vendors. And actually talk to them, show them the platform, and get them on board.
Sorry, I might be asking a confusing question. I apologize. I understand when you're communicating with the vendors.
Yes.
I mean, those vendors need to sell the product to somebody, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
How will you communicate with those people that will purchase the product to make them aware of the existence of the marketplace?
Sorry.
Shop on the marketplace.
Yes. Yeah, that is totally our responsibility, right? So this is, and starting off with Europe, what we've also done is also try to also understand the customer needs. And something that we do there is really, we have the due diligence of actually screening the vendors before they actually have access to our platforms. So for us, it's all about,
I'm not interested in the vendors. I mean, like the customers, the people who purchase the vendors' products. How do you plan to reach them? Are you going to do a social media strategy? Are you going to have like in-person events where they will make them aware of the existence of Umoja?
Yes. I mean, definitely. Yeah. I mean, here we've also teamed up with a marketing company based in Austria, with the aim of really understanding the customer base and also understanding the needs of the customers, and then using social media strategy and also traditional marketing strategies in really obtaining these customers. And I think the key factor, probably this is what you want to hear. The key factor for us is all about trust and transparency, right? Because when a customer hears about a product being sold from Africa, you have a lot of red flags and a lot of questions. And what we do and what we aim to do is really, create that trust and transparency. And through this platform, they're able to really get the trust and transparency about what we are doing, basically.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you. This is exciting.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Philip. David, stay. We are bringing all of funders right now over back. And let me start from Matias. Matias, in 20 seconds, convincing Philip and all the investors watching today, why give you the money? Unmute. Unmute yourself. You're muted.
Sorry. After basic needs like food, love, and social recognition, the next thing you want to do is substitute Excel files and paper to organize your events. So this is what we do. We help organizations make collective decisions that matter. And this is a huge opportunity because after COVID, we had regulations changing. So 200,000 euros in convertible notes, and we put on the top 500,000 that we got from public funding. So it's the best value for money.
Thank you so much, Matias. Alberto.
Yeah, well, as you understood, at OLN, we'll leverage on recent engineering developments to build strategically located test centers to not only ensure the reliability and performance of our commercial ambitions, but within the bounds of airspace, these sites will hold the key to shape the thrust that will not only help reduce the size of the world, but open up the vast expanse of the universe for all. So with your help, we could overcome substantial lobbying, foster meaningful partnerships, and finance us through the regulatory skies, technical hurdles, and methods that will ultimately make Europe multi-planetary together. So hope to count you in.
Thank you, Alberto. Markus.
Oh, pretty easy. I mean, we're the first one. We have proven that that the market has the need. The market is just huge. We have proven scalability in the first year, now also in the first foreign countries. We have a robust business model ready to scale up. All we need are funds in order to grow and make our vision true, that like in 2 years' time, everybody dropping in a restaurant and want to have a job, so asking, where's the talking job? Just applying, it's an easy way to apply. That's all.
Thank you, Markus. Thank you. David.
Yes. For us, there are 3 things. First is our global outreach and vision. Umoja, helps to basically give people access to this untapped new potential and new market. And this is where we're really focused at. And also a platform is an Afrocentric marketplace and innovation. And thirdly, we also feel like we would stand out from any other business, and we would actually like to make an impact into the community. So yeah, we look forward to any investor reaching out and helping us in creating this impact.
Thank you, David. Philip, I don't know if you want to give any more feedback or advice to funders before we close.
I don't know. I think it's all very exciting. I have to say, I really like the Excel, the love, affection, social recognition Excel pitch. I think it's a great elevator pitch, really caught my attention. So definitely keep that up. I think it's great. But no, I think everyone has really great ideas and great businesses, and I'm excited to one day be a customer of many of them, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Philip. David, Alberto, Markus, and Matias, thank you so much for taking your time today, be with us and pitching your great idea. Thank you so much, Philip, as well, for your time and having the Q&A with our founders. To everyone watching, you can watch again going to our YouTube channel. You can get in touch with all our funders directly. We give out information because we are not charging any form of success fee. But again, if you want to come to us, we are more than happy to make a warm meeting. Thank you again. We are very happy to celebrate with you the first 100 pitch. Hope we're going to have 100 more. And again, thank you everyone, and thank you all of the one watching today. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.